Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today, we took a look at my personal collection. And when I say we, I mean Devin Talks Tabletop and Max from Table Knots, two of my close friends here in the industry that run their own channels. I'll leave links down below. Took a look at my personal collection, and we're doing 2 top 10 lists.
Yep.
Boys, you want to talk about what we've done?
Now, to be fair, when you say personal collection, one thing that for both best and worst that we need to clarify before we get ridiculed on either side of
what
this.
either of these videos
Top
are
10
yet.
best board games in Jesse's collection.
Quackalope's personal
Now,
collection.
check it over, Devin.
And now, top 10 worst.
Another video.
We were going
Top
to talk
10
about the worst during the worst videos.
Oh,
Jesse.
boy.
We don't
This
have
is
to talk
for the
about
best.
them both in the
We
one
just
video.
gained 7 subscribers, but lost 16 viewers.
Good.
That
That's
sounds normal.
That's a win.
That's a good trade.
I see this as an absolute
What
win.
were you
That's
saying,
good.
Devin? I'm
I was
sorry.
saying that
Let me
it's
give you
not just your
space.
personal
No, you go ahead
collection.
and talk about what you want to say. Let me make room for you. No, go ahead.
It's not just your personal collection. It's your permanent collection.
It's
Okay.
curated.
So, Quackalope headquarters has something like 700 games.
It's insane.
Like 200 of those are unplayed, like 300 of those need to be covered by us, and about 200, maybe 250 are permanent collection. And from that, there's about 150 on a shelf that is labeled permanent collection downstairs.
Which is it, the left calyx or the right one?
No. Both of those are permanent. But I think
okay.
there's also like another probably 50 scattered around the
Oh,
place.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
like small box games, things that we're playing, things that we've covered,
We
stuff like
just
that.
went off that.
And so they
main
went off
shelf.
of the games that I proudly display in my living room.
My liver room.
2 of the 7 calyxes we have, 5x5s we have, you all went from the games that I genuinely intend to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
And
get
we found the
started.
10 best and 10 worst. Let's go!
Let's start off on a high note and end on a
Low
we're
note.
wrong.
Oh,
honestly.
no. The low note started.
I'm
with
going to
both of
start
you
it because
on camera.
I'm going to take initiative.
Did you hear that?
No,
Did
I
you hear
didn't. What did he
He
say?
said the low note started with us on camera.
Wow.
Let's start with the worst. Okay.
Yeah, let me go get the other set of games.
All right. Let's see what you all think are the
All
best
right.
games. In my
I'm going to
collection.
go ahead and get my big box that I can't use the box lid for because it's unopened.
Unshrink. Yeah. I have a couple of those.
Oh, let's just get this
Unabashed.
over with.
Oh, you're just gonna do that immediately?
I'm just going to do it immediately because I don't want to lift this later.
Anymore. Yeah.
Twilight Imperium.
4th edition.
Fourth
edition,
edition.
which you have purchased, sold, purchased, not open.
Okay, I'll explain the nature.
You're better than Alex, though. You've at least played once.
Okay, I was going to ask
I have.
if you've played.
I have
okay.
played.
One time.
I will explain the nature of this conversation.
Sure.
After you talk about why did you choose it for the best?
Because it's really good.
Because it's one of the best games ever.
Well,
It's
there
one
we
of
have it,
my-
folks.
It's one of my favorite games ever, and I think that even if
Now it's you that's being wild.
there are not many games that I have in my collection that I label as I don't care if I play this once every 5 years
Yep.
because of that play, it deserves to be here.
Sure.
Yep.
Like, this is... So we were talking about this with Uprising last night when we were filming.
Mm-hmm.
A game that creates so much high and so much low as a player. Like, a massive spectrum of player experience. When you pull off, like, that secret... Like, so if you are unfamiliar with this game, it's objective based, and the goal is to get to 10 victory points.
Yep.
And if you get there by the end of your, like, refresh phase at the end of a round, you win. But you typically only get... It's usual to get one... Like, if you get one objective a round, that's a good round. But if you get 2, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, if you can get, like, 3 objective points in one round, it is a coup.
Oh, yeah.
And when you pull off moments like that, it is so memorable. Like, memories of this game endure, even though I haven't played it in a while, endure past games that I've played last week or a month ago because they're that special.
It's also a 5 to 12 hour experience.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
And there's inevitably going to be people that are like, well, if you have the right game group and you do it consistently, we can table it in 2.5 hours.
As long as we hold everyone to a restricted 2.3
Hey,
minutes of bidding.
I played a 5-player game in 5 hours.
That's good.
Learning game.
That's good.
I loved it.
That's good.
I loved
I think our first learning game actually wasn't too painful either. We had a great teacher. So let me give some context here. Twilight Imperium, insane 4X. Probably one of the best 4X experience, if not the best 4X experience ever. And for me, the thing that sells it, like you said, is that I've had a play that justifies it staying in the collection. That means it should just exist in case someone wants to play it. We can get a group together. I'll have one on hand. But for context, I got rid of my copy of Twilight Imperium 4th Edition the moment after I played my first game of Twilight Imperium 4th Edition.
Why?
So
Why'd you get rid of it then?
Listen, I owned the giant box. I owned the playmat. I owned the whole shebang.
I did too.
And I had a friend in DC, Matt in DC, he's been on this channel, took the time to host the game day, teach us the game, really walk us through it, right? And it was a great experience. It was so incredible. At the end of that experience, I resigned myself to the fact that I would never play that game again, like, within the context of my game group currently. I would never table it on my own, but he would. And so what I did...
Keep it. I'll table it for you.
No, here's what I'm saying. Here's what I did. I walked away and left it all right there. I think we did
It's really just because you didn't want to pack it up.
I think he really wanted it, and I think he did like a $20 Patreon back or something. So like it was a little bit of a sell trade there as well. But when I moved, I ended up picking it up again because I still want to play it. I still want to cover it. I still want to feature it here on the channel. But if I have a game group that has a copy and they have a copy that gets to the table, it's available enough. I don't feel the need to always have my own. But it deserves to be here. It deserves to be in someone in my immediate game group's collection should have a copy of TI4.
Yeah. Agreed.
Just in case you have one of those late
Agreed.
nights and you decide you're going to stay up forever.
It's worth it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. Max.
All right, for my... Well, we're not ranking these.
We're not
number-wise.
ranking these. We're just doing top 10.
I'm ranking them. And this
Plus.
is...
This was going to be on my list, too.
Yeah. This is a Splotter Games. This is the
It hurts me to
Capstone version.
have this on the list.
Why?
Why?
Because I didn't want him to be right about it.
Yeah.
Because he put it at number
yeah.
one.
I'm so right about
He
it.
put it at number one. And
He's
after
right
that
about
came
it.
out, I
My
was like...
top 10 2020 list, I got a lot of shit from people around me around this being my number one game of all
It's
time.
so good.
And then I consecutively went and played this game with every single person around me. And
That
not
trashed
all of
him.
them that trashed me. And not all of them have said number one deserving, but all of them have looked at me and went,
You're
okay,
right about it.
Oh,
That
I
makes
could
sense.
I could see.
You're right
Yeah.
about
I
it.
could see.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell me about it.
This is a Splotter game that are known for like these incredibly like difficult, heavy games that are very hard to play. And this one, however, feels very like... I like to compare this to a Knizia game, almost. In the sense that the decisions that you make, the actions that you can take are very simple. But it's the strategy and what you do with those actions that create very compelling moments and like very hard moments, hard decisions. Like I have to make a call of where to place a token. I'm just placing a token.
Yeah.
And that's crucial to how my game goes.
The thing that you just described is exactly what I thought too.
Yeah.
You said simple actions that you really have a lot of nuance in the decision. The word that, as soon as I played this, the word I thought of was elegant. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
It is an elegant design.
Yeah. The way the game
I don't
flows.
think about that. Like, that's not a word that I'm like, oh, I think
Many
about
board
that when I
games
have
are
a board
elegant,
game.
right.
Like, you know, when I'm playing like a
100%.
dice chucking game, I'm like, this is not elegant. But like,
Right.
this is an elegant game.
I agree. Just everything that you do is so intuitive, but the thought process and decision making that you have to like gruel over to make is just it's punishing, but it's so fun.
And also, like, in a connection to Twilight Imperium, the satisfying thing when you're able to set up a play that really messes with someone, like in Twilight Imperium, you're like, oh, you don't have a fleet anymore, I've destroyed you, and I've like snuck in and done something cool. In this, you're like, oh, hey, you know how you set up beautifully this route to take all of these people from work to the bars so that they could relax? I just turned back
Turned the
time.
time. Now they wanna
and now
go.
they're just
Yep.
at work and they don't need your buses.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ah!
Yeah, 100%.
So good.
That one little glitch in the system just makes for so much
So good.
like it's so good.
So good.
Here's the hard thing for me. Bus. I agree with people who are like, number one, really? But I couldn't think of a better thing to be there, especially bringing Kingdom Death off of number one. Like,
Right.
I subbed my favorite game of all time to 0 because it was an unfair competition. I wanted something that could be challenged. And then over the last year, I have played this a dozen times.
You've played
with
it a
new
lot,
people, trying to figure out, trying to remind myself, does it deserve to be there? And trying to figure out what might beat it and introduce it to new people.
Yeah.
And so far, approaching my 2023, 2022, what year are we in?
2022.
2022, approaching my...
When you said 2020, I was like, I think it's
It
2021.
was 2021. They all mush together.
They really have.
like our cheeks.
Yeah.
So when I think of... Stop it. I said our cheeks, not... It's our cheeks, not yours. When I think of...
The more you go that way, our
I'll
cheeks.
mush my cheeks later.
When I think of this game, and I think of
Tummy
what
stick.
deserves to be my number one, Bus is hard-pressed to be beat. I have not came up with a title yet. I've came up with titles that shift my 3, 2, 4, like the entire other list. Like I might have 8 new games on my list.
But that's not going
To me, this is just like, this is a pure board game
I
experience.
cannot figure out how to beat it.
I would say maybe one of the things that keeps it as steady for you as it is I didn't feel like there was a weakness. Even games I love, there's a downside to it. Twilight Imperium, there's a downside to the fact that you have to spend hours playing. Like, this takes place in a really crunchy 75, 90-minute experience. We played it 4-player, and I have nothing bad to say about it, which is rare for me to have a game and be like, oh, I have nothing bad to say about it.
The only crit I might have is that it doesn't play 2-player.
Yeah.
Well, I play a lot with Amber, and so no 2-player. But again,
It's not something
I'm not
you
the kind of
want
person
to
that's
play
like, I don't need
2-player.
every game I have to meet a
Sure.
single requirement. So the fact that this isn't 2, whatever.
I'll give it a negative. The availability and the cost.
I want this so bad.
I know you
own
own it. You also live 5 hours away.
Yeah, just 5 hours.
Right now, it is insanely unavailable, and Capstone Games has not indicated they're doing a reprint of it, which I think is shocking considering a prolific channel like my own is stirring up the market.
And with it being Splatter,
Yeah,
I mean,
myself
with it being
I want
Splatter,
it.
they
I want it
do
bad.
have a rough conversion of quality to price. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not a bad quality game.
No.
But
Splatter has an incredible conversion of quality to price if you ignore components
that's
and
what
focus
I mean.
on the
I mean
gameplay
production.
experience.
Let's
Splatter
clarify.
puts out some of the
I
best
don't mean
games.
quality and
this one,
gameplay.
though.
I mean
the 20th
production.
The 20th
to
anniversary
clarify.
edition is really, really nice, and it sells for like $250 on market right now.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And if I had this game damaged, I would go spend $250 without a second thought.
So we busted up. He sells us the old one that's busted up, and then he goes and buys a new one for $250.
That's
let
not
me
what
get a
I'm
pocket
saying.
knife out. And
Here's the real question. If I didn't have a copy of Bus, would I sell one of my extra copies of Kingdom Death to buy a copy of Bus?
I mean,
Yes.
I hope you have like 9.
the answer is yes.
yes.
Yeah.
But the answer is not yes for most games.
Yeah.
Even
not
if you have
yes for
9
most
copies,
games.
it's not.
I don't. I believe I have 3 copies of Kingdom Death right now.
That's still 2 copies
Too many.
I got
That's 2.5 copies too many. Because
no. I got into Kingdom Death during a period of time where it
do
was
you like Kingdom Death?
insanely unavailable.
I did not know that about
And so,
you.
like, the traumatic child in me that, like, couldn't find the game when
You're
it was
like, I
unavailable.
don't want it to ever be that
I want to
case.
never experience that again.
But so that should be you with Bus then. You should own like 3 copies
I
of Bus.
owned 2 copies of Bus, and I just traded one for a deluxeified copy of Marvel Champions.
Yeah, that's right. You told me that.
All right.
You told me that.
But now, in my mind, I am thinking about where I can find another copy of Bus. Because I don't like my top 10 games of all time.
You don't want to ever not have
I kind
them.
of don't like the idea of not
Yeah.
having them
Yeah.
available.
I like Big
Well,
Bus.
when
and I
you
cannot lie.
find the copy for your backup copy, just let me know,
What do you
and
pull?
I'll
What do you
have
pull?
Shira mail it to me.
Oh yeah, this is golden. That's
Yeah.
fine. We don't even need a segment. Let's just sit here and ooh and ah at the box for about 30 seconds, and we can move on.
This is the deluxe box.
Ooh.
Ah.
Oh boy.
All right, tell people about Mind MGMT.
Why do
Mind
you,
management.
Why do you
Can I-
say
can I
Mind
just-
MGMT?
So does Alex. Alex does
Can
the same
I-
thing. It's
can I-
mind management.
It's mind management.
I just take a little bit. Actually, MGMT is an acronym, not for management.
But it's
But
not.
the
in
game
this
is
case.
mind management.
I don't think so.
It is.
Let me clarify though.
Sure, let me go call up Matt.
I'm just gonna
Hey, Matt
take a
Kent.
moment. I'm just gonna take a moment.
Is this
to say
MGMT or management?
Quackalope was on the front line of covering the prototype of this. We were one of the only only people covering the original prototype of this, and we were right. We were fucking right.
Is this a top 10 board games on his collection or top 10 times Jesse was right? Because I'm tired of that.
I need different games.
Yeah, I'm tired of that
So,
second one.
Mind management is a hidden movement.
To be fair, I also classified this as my top game of 2021.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, mine was top games
Right
of
on the
2020.
Yeah,
Before
well, guess who
people
didn't have
found
access to Prototype? Probably would have thought the same thing.
Mine was top of 2020. Probably as we trend into 2023, it'll be on both of those lists. 2021 and 2022, the years that we're.
Can you tell people about this game?
This is the best hidden movement game.
Mind management.
Now I say that I have not played Beast with you and Alex.
I really want to try.
You guys
Beast.
have covered that, and I really really like Black Sonata, which is a solo small box hidden movement game.
You tried the solo yet? The app's available now.
I did it a little bit at Gamma, but
sold?
I haven't gone fully into
Not
it.
sold, not sold.
I enjoyed it, but I definitely
Not as good.
I haven't played all the way through it.
Yeah. How can you judge that?
To be fair, it's like I have to have a full experience before I judge something. Judgy.
Like judge face.
This is the best hidden movement game that I have played.
Yeah.
It self-balances. It plays in a kinetic short time period. It grows as much as you want it to, and it is always so tight. And I think it's one of the most finely balanced for both the hidden player and the team cooperative element. Because other games I've played, Letters from Whitechapel, which is a classic that I came into the hobby with. It was one of the first wave of games I started playing. Jack feels really strong.
Dracula.
Fury of Dracula I haven't played, but my brother has played that and said he feels you would have to horribly mismanage Dracula to lose. He's just so strong, both physically in an attack fashion and also just able to get away.
Veiled Fate.
Veiled Fate isn't. I don't consider that hidden movement.
It's on the edge of. It's the edge of social
To
deduction.
me, that fits under the social deduction umbrella.
Right.
Is like, to me, so like this.
There's a bar.
This is the pinnacle of what I think of for hidden movement. And Failed Fate is like the pinnacle of what I think of for Failed Fate. Veiled Fate is the pinnacle of what I think of for games like Secret Hitler, Werewolf, and stuff like that, but in a much more strategic,
Yeah. And I have a hard time saying it's the best hidden movement game, which I believe, to clarify.
Yeah.
But I just don't have the experience with other hidden movement games to really go that far.
Don't invalidate your lived experience.
Look, man, thank you. Appreciate that. But it is so good. I love mind management. The shift system, you said it kind of balances itself.
Yeah.
It does that too with the shift system. Because it's like, if one person's winning constantly, the other person's just unlocking things that help them and benefit them.
It's
and
fun to lose this game.
14 packages, 7 for each. The recruiter and the agents, and it's like that's a lot of content.
Yeah,
I've only unlocked 2 or 3 of the shift boxes because I played 3 or 4 games base without ever touching them, and then unlocked like 2 or 3 of them, and they add a lot. And I still have like 10 plus to go. Like there's so much content in this game. Yeah. It's beautifully produced. You can tell that like Matt Kent and the people behind, like
the
collaboration between
and his podcast,
like poured their love into this. They poured their love into this, and it shows all across the board.
Well, also not even just the fact that like they put a lot of love into it, the intense collaboration where because Matt, who did the graphic novel, he's not just like a board game illustrator or artist that worked on a game and did a really good job. Mm-hmm. He is the comic book artist.
And he loves it. Like he's promoting it all the time.
Here's my read on this. It's the perfect example of taking a, like you said, artist who has perfected his craft and has succeeded at one genre, applied to a designer who's also done an incredible job in this industry, like a pair, and they just unequivocally trusted each other. Yeah. They collaborated, but I am sure when Jay and Sen went to him asking about art, doing design work, they just were like, man, do your thing. And when he went to them with gameplay,
so good.
He might have had lore and world and stuff like that, but I guarantee if Jay was pushing for something or Sen was pushing for something, at the end of the day, the designers got freedom to do what they wanted, and it's made a masterpiece.
It is such an incredible collaboration.
Yeah. Definitely never leaving. I own 2 more copies of that.
All right, next game. Do you really? Oh, you do. Yeah, you do. I don't have the deluxe, by the way. Just so you know.
Just so you know.
Just in case you just wanted to know something.
Just in case you're back up to the backup copy.
Next on my list is Cthulhu Death May Die.
We just got the Big Daddy. Tell me about this.
Oh, you have the Big Daddy?
Downstairs.
Oh, and you've never played it?
I've never played it.
Okay.
If we do our heavy game weekend, I want that to be.
It's not even that heavy.
Guys, I wasn't even.
Sorry, but I just mean like
weekend.
You weren't. It's okay. But I mean,
what? What just happened? This is Cthulhu Death May Die. This is by Simon Games, so it's got all the flash, the miniatures, whatever. But this is kind of like a dungeon crawl. and it can be compared
It's not
to...
kind of like it.
It is. It is.
It's a dungeon crawl.
But it is like my favorite across the board just because of certain differences.
Tell me about
Like I love the ramping powers and abilities. It's one of those things that as you inch and inch closer to death, you're also getting increasingly stronger.
Yeah.
So like towards the end of the game, I am big, I am strong,
Yeah, you are.
but also
Almost
I
dead.
am almost dead, and this is almost over. And so it gives that like incredible tension in the past few turns where it's like I'm rolling 15 dice.
I could either
but I
win
have
this
to
game
kill
in the
this
most
thing.
epic motion
Yeah.
that ever happened, or one little thing could kill me.
Yeah, I'm rolling a crap ton of dice.
Does it have any mechanics that are integral to like the Lovecraftian or Cthulhu world of like insanity? Like is
Yeah,
that as
there
thing
are.
in
That's
there?
how. So that's exactly what you're moving up. So if you're talking about getting closer to death,
Yep.
what you're doing is your mind is breaking. But
Okay.
every bridge you go over, you're rolling more dice. You're unlocking new abilities. You're scaling in insanity as you experience this world.
And there's
but
a
at a
point where you
certain
die.
point,
And there's a point.
at a certain point, your brainstem just goes.
Yeah.
That was like sonically really satisfying.
Yeah, I love
Not
that.
thinking about you, your brain shutting off.
Yeah. And of course that theme can be off-putting to some, and understandably so.
Yeah.
But like it is just it's done
great.
in a I'm not gonna say it's like a tasteful way.
I don't think you can do
But-
Lovecraft without that.
Right, exactly. It's kind of the tough bridge you have to get.
I believe Alex has pointed out it's, as far as he's aware, the only game with a Jewish character in it.
Yeah.
Has
The-
like a full kippah and
There's
everything.
a ton of diversity
really?
in the characters. A ton of diversity in the characters. And of course, it's fun because, like, there's Indiana Jones characters and Albert
Yeah,
Einstein
yeah, yeah,
characters.
yeah.
Like, they pull off of people actually from history.
It's fantastic.
And they
Cool.
each have their own unique ability. Every character has one ability that is unique to them alone.
And it's played in either single sessions or sagas.
Yeah. I will say, I do want to caveat this with so I've played this game a lot, probably over a dozen times.
Oh, wow.
But I've still only played the first 4 chapters. I just keep repeating them with other
with
people, which I think is a testament to the game.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
I'm repeating
That
the
you're
same
not
content.
tired of it.
Or
and
a
I'm
failure
still
on your
loving
part
it.
that so many people stop playing the game with you.
No, I just don't have people to live that close to me. But I will say, I
Only on
played...
episode 1. People just don't want to keep doing it
That's
with
No,
me.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. But it was so
I've actually
good.
never had someone not like it. But also, I have Season 2, and I played the first episode of Season 2.
Okay.
I did not
Hated it.
like the first episode
Why?
of Season 2
Tell me about it.
at
I haven't
all.
played it.
I think if you go to play it, you legitimately have to house rule it, because you can literally lose the game just by drawing like the wrong cards early in the game. Because you'll draw a card and it's like, if you have this gem, you can collect this guy. But if I don't have a gem, I can't collect that guy and it gets discarded. To win the scenario, I need 4 of those guys.
You know what they say.
So if I just don't have the right stuff and I draw them,
If
it's
you
just
like it, well, you
done.
better put a
Yeah.
gem on it.
Yeah,
Then
or
you
a
gotta
ring,
put a gem
or
on
a
it.
money. But in campaign 2,
You are in a rare mood
I know.
today.
It's not us this time.
It's not us.
It's not us.
I think he's
I
overcompensating because he wants us to go down.
Yes,
so
I
he's
ramp
going
appropriately.
up.
I ramp appropriately.
I
He
just
wants
love
us to calm down.
I love this game. So fun. It's just like rolling a bunch of dice.
This is top 10 for you and Doolin, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like
If I
number
played
2,
it,
3
if
for
I
me.
played it more, it would probably compete for it. It's top 20 for me, I
Yeah.
believe.
It's just I've never had a bad time until campaign 2, episode 1,
Cool.
which I did not like whatsoever.
I'll have to play that one and embarrass you.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
go for it, man.
What else do you got? I like this version of just compliment all Jesse's games. I'm really looking forward to the one where it's hate on all Jesse's games.
Ooh.
This isn't the worst list. You're safe. This,
I know,
so
girl.
I have, as I've been playing more and more games over the last 2 years, I've slowly come to the realization that if I
you
want to
only play
maintain
games
a
alone.
relationship with the people around me, they cannot play at the pace that I need to. And so I have pushed into solo gaming.
Yeah.
I need
And-
to do that as well.
Through that, I have experienced quite a few games that I really, really enjoy. And this is one that hits the spot. I know that some people complain about the dice rolling in this. They're like, it's progressive. It's snowballing success or snowballing failure in the
Escalating
sense
failure,
that if you're doing bad, you're going to do worse. And if you're doing well, you might do even better.
Yeah.
I don't mind that if the game is short enough.
Yeah.
And this is so thematically, like, I love movies. My family did movie night every Friday growing up. Like, cinema is something
I'm
that
going to
I
challenge
really,
that.
really enjoy.
Name 3 movies.
Name 3 movies.
That's on me. I set the bar too low. Stop.
Cthulhu,
Yeah. That's one.
books,
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Devin Talks Tabletop.
Okay.
Devin talks.
Damn it, Devin! That last one is not a movie. All right, continue.
So
Challenge.
The visual and like lore or thematic immersion behind this, like it doesn't even have a ton of flavor text that exists within it, but it is so visually immersive, and the storytelling is what's evocatively happening to you as you play, and it feels like it fits within the realm of a terrified but resilient girl that is like one of the last ones standing, trying to deal with his like terrifying supernatural or serial killer. Like it is so fun, and it is beautifully immaculate, like or visually immaculate. It is just so nice. Like I have the playmats. Like when we went to it was PAX Unplugged, I think.
Picked it all up.
They had like I missed the Kickstarter.
Yeah, they had
they had like 10 of them or 20 of them or something in the full everything you can get. And as soon as I got done with my first shift at the booth, they were directly behind me. I just walked around and was like, one of those, please.
Yeah.
One of those, please.
I should have picked up a second copy then.
Because as a backup copy for your first copy.
This game, like everything you said, is so good. And I find I don't get it off the shelf to play one session often. But when I get it off the shelf, I spend the next 5 hours playing 4 sessions.
Now I've played 3 or 4 sessions now, and I'm ready to jump into some of the other boxes.
Oh, you haven't jumped into other boxes?
I lost a couple times. I wanted to win.
Have you only played Hans?
I've only played Hans.
Me too.
From location to killer to like
it
is so you haven't even started seeing what's so good about this.
But I loved it just off of Hans' box.
How excited are we?
And I loved it so much. I haven't even done the other boxes, and I immediately, as soon as season 2 went in,
I was like, how excited are we for the cassette style storage box? Because right now it annoys me that all these are floaty.
They'll all slot into their own movie boxes.
To a movie box.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've only played this one time. And I've only played the Hans Camp Happy Trail one as well.
Sorry.
I know. Actually, there's a video on Tabletop if you want to watch the gameplay.
Wow.
It's great.
You're doing that right now.
I'm doing it right now.
Wow.
You know, instead of me just jumping in and talking Devin Talks Tabletop,
Yeah.
I'm actually finding instances where I can flow it in.
I have never done that.
It's not you. Anyways, I've played this one time, and I think it's really interesting. You talked about, and it very well could be true the vast majority of the time, about how it's kind of a sink or swim. Yeah. Like, once you start doing poorly, you start doing poorly. Yeah. But I found it really thematic, and the one game that I played, I thought 20 minutes in that I was done. Like, there was no chance. I thought it was over. Spoilers, if you want to watch the gameplay, it was epic. Yeah. But, like, I thought it was over. Hans was all the way up the track, just refreshing at the top of the track then, of course. He was moving like 8 spaces a turn. Everyone was dead. You go watch, tell me if I did. I get a view off you at least. And at the end, I ended up like getting my bow and getting able to like do, like I got the right things. And it was just, it was incredible.
It creates a story.
Oh, it did.
It doesn't have a lot of lore text because it doesn't need it. You literally make the story.
And every session is its own unique story.
Yeah.
Like, you said you played the same session over and over and over again.
So I played...
And how different...
I played Ryko. And then I played Laura. And I lost both times.
I think it's Rico and Lori. But yeah.
Is it Lori?
It's definitely Lori.
I think it's Ryko.
Okay.
You think it's Rico?
I only played with Lori.
Maybe it is Rico. Anyways, but then I went back and I was like, okay, I'll go with Rico. And I used her
Ryko.
again.
I say tomato, you say Tahato.
I actually don't even know our names.
But but it's just like the fortune of the game opened up. And like some people would call it luck. I also just felt like it was a new movie that I was watching. Like, I had her, and I started off, and like the first location, one of the 3 locations had my axe, my special axe on top.
And you see her walking in there, and like a glint in the corner, she pulls a blanket off, and there's her axe.
Yeah, right? And then like the first event phase gave me an item for free. So I get the axe from the very get-go, which makes her even stronger on attacks. And it's just like... I just went in, and I went, like, toe-to-toe with Hans, and it was so cool.
I will say, I actually lost it, too. You know how you have that, like, extra health that you flip over? It's lost. Thank you, Devin. But, like, my character was dead, but you have that token that you can flip over,
like,
and you had an extra might get an extra health. And I flipped over and had 1 extra health.
So, like, the hand
killed
through
it.
the earth.
It was so good.
I think it's a testament to this game that we've spent the last 7 minutes not talking to them, but just relaying what happened to us in this game.
It's so
I think
good.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Final Girl, amazing.
It is great. Moving on from something, same box size, but something thematically horrifying to just a party game. we've got Decrypto here.
Okay.
Nice.
Do you also have 4 Clover
I don't yet.
and Codenames?
I do.
Sitting next to this in your
I
category.
do, and for me,
does Decrypto beat those?
so I've not played So Clover. I do want to, but for me, Decrypto beats Codenames. But I also find that they fill very different and unique areas to me.
Tell them about it. Tell them about
When
it.
I play
Not
Codenames,
this one. Tell them about this.
okay, well, I'm going to compare it real quick.
Don't compare them.
When I play
it's a tangent.
Codenames,
It's Codename.
I want to play it with more than 4 people. If it's just 2v2,
Really?
this to me shines in that instance.
Oh, I never have that many people over.
Yeah, that's true. Me also rarely,
You don't
which
have
is
that
why
many
this gets played more than
friends.
Codenames. But this is like...
We were paid to be here.
Yeah, were you? You're getting paid?
No, you're also getting paid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I told you.
I didn't know. I don't know. I wasn't sure. Look, this is...
For the first time on the channel, I can genuinely say I've paid both my friends to be here with me for the weekend.
Dang. Friends. To be fair, it could be like $1. I wouldn't know.
Good thing I'm getting that sub bump from both Devon Talks Tabletop and Table Knots.
That's where our real value comes from.
Hey, Mom.
I'm just
talk
using
to
you.
Jesse for me.
I'm
Watch
just
his
using you
videos.
for your channel.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
So, Decrypto to me is a much more strategical, and really like deduction type game, right?
I cannot find any
fine.
value coming
I'm
from
not
any
going
of
to talk
you.
about the game. We're just going to talk about our subscriber count.
No, I was trying to figure out if you guys provide any value.
No,
Wow.
Probably not.
That just really dehumanizes
we
me.
bring comedy to the channel.
Decrypto.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Decrypto.
Uh-huh. So in this game, you're trying to discover like the certain number combinations.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that you have to be vague enough that you don't give away the answers to your opponents. So you're trying to not be vague with your friends because you don't want to get it wrong. If you get it wrong, you can lose. If you get it wrong twice, you lose. But if they get it right twice, they win. And so it's really just a battle of how vague can I get? Because if I cross a threshold, my partner's not going to get it, and then I'm in trouble. But if I don't cross the threshold, then they're just going to be able to guess
And
it
the
super
opponents
easily.
are getting information not about what your cards, what the clues actually are, but about all the vagaries you've given.
Yeah.
So it means
Yeah.
if I say cold, blue, polar bear, you're going for
Antarctica,
ice.
something like that.
something
Yeah.
like that.
And so my unique experience with this, I played this once, and I played it when we were at Gamma just recently in March. And I played it 4-on-4, or 4-on-3. But my unique thing was, we played
Really?
against... Yeah, so...
4-on-3, okay.
But you're talking about, like, you have to be, like, intelligent and transparent with your team, but opaque to the other team.
Right.
I played with 3 Australians.
Ah.
So I played with Thinker Themer, and then I played with Peter Hayward, the designer of That Time He Killed Me. And I was the only American.
Sure.
And then it was a Canadian and 2 Americans on the other side. And so they were like, oh, we're just going to use Australian slang. like Australian terminology.
Which isn't quite how you're supposed to play the game.
Yeah, that's a bit unfair. There is
They only did it like
You're
once or
not-
twice.
You're not really supposed to
There
use,
are
like,
rules in the game that tell you to not be like too specific to your friend. Like if I was playing with
Yeah.
Jesse, I'm not allowed to use an inside joke that only Jesse and I get.
Ah, that's
because
fair.
that's not fair
That's
to the
fair.
opposing team.
Gotcha.
It's in the spirit of the game. I mean, really, I guess you could, but
They only did it like once or twice.
Sure.
It was just interesting because it was like, I as their teammate
Like if you said,
doing anything.
didn't even
if you
know
said
what
thinning,
the guess.
I know you'd be referencing my hairline and not my weight.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, same, dude.
But like they
Same.
used a slang term, or like one of them used an Australian term, and the other 2 were like, "Oh,
Got it.
here are my votes," and I was like,
What? Yeah.
"Here are mine."
Yeah, I've played with people that the first time they play this game, they don't grasp that, and that's
Yeah.
understandable. This is such a simple game. I find it incredibly difficult to teach.
Yeah.
But I've played with people, and they're like what you said, ice, and they're like blue, cold, cube, and I'm like, and then the other people are like, it's number 4. I'm like, yeah, you got it. I'm like, okay, so for next time.
I had one game session of this. where
Great
by
job.
The
Yeah.
very end of the game, it was with Becca Scott. I was competing with her, and by the end of the game, I think I was able to guess 2 out of 3 of the actual words
Yeah,
given,
that's
which is
happening.
a cool thing. So for me, Decrypto goes right next to Codenames and So Clover. So Clover's the new kid on the block.
I need to play that one.
Real sweetheart. They're all the same size of games, which means they all compete in this party game style thing. Codenames was king. Decrypto quickly took over. Now Codenames is back to top. I got to be honest, Decrypto's fallen to the bottom of all three of them.
If you guys like those three, then I would like to recommend, based off of something that like when we played there that night.
Games, man. This is not really the video we're doing.
I'd like to hear your recommendation, Devin Talks Tabletop.
We're not. This is supposed to be like my collection, not really a recommendation video.
Okay, but now I want to know. Can we at least talk about it after the video?
What's the recommendation?
Talk about it after the video.
What's the recommendation?
Hang on.
Stop it. What's the recommendation?
French toast from Peter Hayward.
Oh yeah, I haven't even heard of that, and I love French toast.
We had an absolute blast.
French toast is delicious.
I will say this: the first play of the game.
This is about the top 10 games on Jesse's shelf, not. Please tell.
I mean, I'm really curious about French toast now.
The first round of it started like this.
Land vs. Sea.
Peter Hayward. I'm not done talking about that. Give me that game. No, give me that game.
We moved on to French toast.
The first round of that game went with Peter, the designer of it, describing the game.
Yeah.
And Alex, who was there, said, "There's no way this game works." And he goes, he's like, there's no way in which this works. And it's where you have to progressively guess a word of what your team is before, like, each team has a guess giver.
Okay.
And they give it out, and for like 30 seconds, there's a initial word that's French toast, and then any other word other than French toast, like what they offer up. If you think it's closer to the word that they're trying to guess, you say that word. Or if you don't, you say French toast. So, for example, say the word is cereal, and you have French toast as your starting word always, and then somebody says blanket, you'd go French toast. Because French toast is still closer to cereal than blanket is.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And so then they could be like milk, and you'd go milk. Milk's closer to cereal. And so you do that progressively. And Alex was like, this doesn't work as a game. And then we got it in like 6 guesses, and he was like, Alex was blown away. He's like, no, how did we do this? And then the next one, they got it in 3 guesses. And Alex was like, it broke his mind when we played.
That sounds great.
And we played it at the same night that we played Decrypto and
it sounds like I'm ordering French toast.
All right.
And also the game.
Back to the video. Land versus Sea. This is a Carcassonne killer.
Okay. Yeah, agreed.
This is a Carcassonne.
To be honest, I didn't really care for Carcassonne.
This will, I think if you play this, because it plays distinctly at 2, at 3, at 4, it has got unique.
Balanced for every player.
Every player count is balanced
and good.
It plays faster. It's in a smaller box. It's just better.
It's prettier.
You can play it base game. You can play it base game.
There's lots of
and introduce anybody to it. You can play it with the most complex stuff and really have a lot of stuff to think about. This is a Carcassonne killer. This should be in your collection. More than that game, 100%. Absolutely. I have nothing else to say about it.
Land vs. Sea is a tile-laying game where you're trying to expand regions to score accordingly.
Have some faith in your audience, man.
For oceans, for land, and then sometimes for other scoring objectives like trade routes.
But the thing I like about French toast,
and more and more, comes from Good Games Publishing. Lovely game. I think I love this game partially because I misjudged this game initially.
It's so
good. Games was like, hey, we got a new game coming out. You want to check it out? And I was like, sure, always. Like, you got to do some good stuff. And then they slid this across the table, and I went, I'm going to hate it.
And then Devin said, Jesse,
and then I
play that
it.
game. You have to play
and
that game.
This was a 5 out of 5 for me from PAX last year. It was one of the 2 biggest hits from PAX. And
one of your top games of 2021?
I don't think it was. No, maybe it was.
Oh, you were wrong about that.
Was it on my list? I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Was it your top list of 2020? Trending to 2023?
Probably, yeah. Land vs. Sea, though, fantastic game.
And you have a fancy box for it.
I do. I made the fancy box with my grandfather.
All right, this is one that I'm not ready to talk about because I hate describing this game. I don't know how to describe this game, but I love it so.
Have faith, man.
And I'm really sad that it's still in shrink. I know you've played it, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's Cosmic Frog.
I want to play this.
I think my copy's in shrink because I played your copy. I think I played Jan's copy.
Yeah, I know you played Jan's copy.
I played a few different copies.
Yeah. Cosmic Frog is by Devious Weasel Games, designed by Jim Felly. This is a game that is incredibly difficult to explain without sounding ridiculous, essentially. You are a 2-mile-high frog, and you are on a shard, in the aether, in the sky, and you are collecting things into your stomach.
Swallowing them into your gullet.
You're disgorging them into your vault.
You are doing that.
You're punching each other.
To
I can
force them
stick
to
my
disgorge.
tongue down Devin's throat.
To
Oh, sorry, we're talking
swallow
about
his-
Cosmic Frog. I can stick my tongue down Devin's throat and pull out a tile that he
Is the
has
AC
in
off?
his gullet.
It's getting hot in here.
It's nuts. Everybody has different psychic powers. Everybody has different abilities and how they fight. They all roll different dice. Every frog is unique in
One
how
of
they
the
work.
coolest rule books I've ever read.
Rulebook is great.
Also, it says, there is a phrase on here that says harvest huge tracts of land, which I have not heard since Monty Python.
It's also a beautiful production. You've got miniatures. You've got a playmat. The entire board is just a playmat.
Oh, nice.
The one negative I have about this game, which isn't that bad if people are
heavy
doing it
take that.
together, but like the setup is
I
a
don't
lot
mind that.
because there's shards that you have to just put all over the board, and it's a lot. But it's just so fun. We had one game I played where one of the frog's abilities was that they could basically destroy a shard underneath them, and so this frog got ahead. And then only
Took away
wanted to
points?
and he got ahead in
King
points,
stuff?
and the game ends when enough shards are basically uncovered.
Okay.
And so he got ahead in points and was like, "I'm just uncovering shards."
break
He
everything.
just started destroying the whole world, and eventually it ended, and he won because we weren't able to catch up with him in
That's
time.
so cool.
But it's just nuts. You can jump off the shard and then basically slipstream to another position on the entire opposite side of the map and fight someone there, and it's just beyond how
Sounds like
wild and zany
Doctor
it sounds.
Strange in a board
Yeah,
game.
but beyond how wild and zany it sounds, there's a puzzle there.
Yeah.
There's a tile laying puzzle. You have to think about when you eat something, it goes to the bottom of your gullet. So when you throw it
order you
back out, it's
consume
going to be at
them.
the top in your vault because things come out backwards. And you have to place things not only tile laying in like certain directions, like I want a pattern of 4 in a row, but also I want these things on top of these things. So it's really dumb and silly and fun,
But
then there's
it's also
actually
thinking.
a puzzle there when
Yeah.
it comes to actually how you're going to
I mean,
score points.
if you love take that style games, it's one of the
We
best.
should-
in the
I wanna
genre.
play this.
Oh, it's
It's
fantastic.
so good. I love it. Now, Doolin does not care for it that much.
Yeah.
But Jash, our other table knot, loves this game too. It's so fun. We've also played with like some maybe gonna be released expansions that I think do add a lot. I'm not sure if they're official yet. Well, I don't know if they're ever coming, but
Yeah.
they added quite a bit to the game. I don't know. It's just a good time.
Doolin also eats mayonnaise by the spoonful, so
That's true. I saw him do
No,
it.
he doesn't.
yeah, just straight spoons.
Oh, I was like, does he really?
I want this one. Taking it home.
Well, how much do we got left?
I
We got
will
another
one
last-
each. One each.
One
each,
each.
yeah. What do you... Okay. Oh, yeah!
Oh, Mr. Tracy Boards.
Crokinole.
This is not Crokinole.
That's it. Yes,
Crokinole.
it is. Shut up.
It just-
You want us to get? You want me
You,
to go
you
get
get
it?
your board and bring it
this
up
is
here?
not-
We would just
Which
start
one?
playing.
Don't do that.
Which board? There's
Huh?
like 5, right?
I have a third one on the way that a friend is making me.
Yeah.
Crokinole,
It's
possibly the best game I own. Although not beating
Wow.
Bus, because I don't know that I don't know. Does it go on my board game list?
Yeah.
Yes.
It should.
Is it a board game?
It should.
It's like a genre unto itself.
It is, but it
is Scrabble or chess a board
I think of
game?
Crokinole more as a sport than of a board game.
it is, but board gamers consider it a board game.
But I would stick Crokinole in the same category
Okay,
as stick
so-
Frisbee golf in.
So here's how I view it. Here's how I view it. You have
I count it
chess.
as exercise.
You have chess, and then Peter Hayward designs That Time You Killed Me. That Time You Killed Me, like, originates some level of
Sure.
classic design
Sure.
elements
Sure.
from chess.
Sure.
You have Flick of Faith, you have Catacombs, you have all of these dexterity games
And they're
in your
iterating
house.
on.
They iterate on, like,
Crokinole.
Crokinole is just a pure
It's
dexterity
the
game.
king of.
And it doesn't need to change. It's the chess, it's the go. It does not need to change because it is
Yeah.
perfect.
Love Crokinole.
It's perfect.
It's so good. It gets way more boring the better you get at it.
You have tried to convince yourself to get rid of the board for the
I
last
have
2
two
years,
boards.
and you haven't gotten rid of
That's
it.
true.
Listen to me. You'll never be good enough that it gets boring.
No, you're 100% right, but that's
Like
good.
Like the best players.
Have you ever
that
seen
just
a
sink
tournament?
In the
nuts,
620s.
If
all the
you
time.
go look at a Crokinole tournament, these guys look miserable. They look like they hate their lives, that they're there competing for the championship.
They just spent
because they're
56
just
hours
like,
practicing a single flick, and they're not making any prize money.
and they're making every 20 over and over, and it's just so mind-numbingly boring. But then you play with me or
great.
anyone else that's not great, and we're like, oh, yours is all the way over there. Oh no, like it's
Oh,
so
boy.
fun. Oh boy, it really is.
Crokinole
Crokinole.
is remarkable.
I would also sell Kingdom Death or Bus to buy Crokinole.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crokinole's great.
Crokinole is the most expensive thing I have that I absolutely would encourage anyone to also spend the same.
Have you seen Karuka? Because I want Karuka.
I have not seen that.
I don't think it matters.
It would have to.
Is it going to be better than Crokinole?
It would
No,
have
I'm not
to-
saying
No,
it's going to be better.
I can
bar.
confidently. Why are you talking
not saying
about
it's
it
gonna be
then?
better.
I can confidently say.
Crokinole boards are like $300 minimum.
So-
The Karuka board's only $150.
Again, he just stated.
It's also only available
So
in the UK.
It's cheaper and worse.
But it's basically like
We came over here.
Yeah.
We came over here.
Yeah.
The last time I came up for spring break with my son, and we filmed and we also just hung out. We played hours-wise more Crokinole
Than any other game.
any other
Really?
thing.
Oh yeah.
Love
We
that.
played me and Jesse. We played me and Jesse and Shira and Alex. We played me, Alex, and
I mean, honestly,
Jesse. We played me and
if
Jesse.
we're going to do anything before
Akiva
you,
and
if
Alex.
we have 20 minutes and you're not on the
Play a
road,
little game Crokinole.
We
we're
would
gonna
play
grab
Crokinole.
and
I
play
love
Crokinole.
Crokinole.
It's so good.
And we're gonna do it
So
on
good.
that board.
But I do want to play Karuka because it looks awesome.
But it's not Crokinole.
No,
I don't
there's
know.
there's holes on the outside edge.
What's your number
it's
one?
like pool. It's like pool.
It's not Crokinole.
That's staying out here.
I'll tell you that.
Okay.
It's staying out here because the number ones deserve it.
I'm not sure how
They're not
you-
ranked, but
Yeah, it's fair. They're not ranked at all.
That's ranked.
that's ranked.
I'm not sure how you all feel about this game. And to clarify, I'm holding an expansion box, but I'm referring to the main game. This is Ankh
Hunk.
by Simon Games.
That is one of 3 games in a trilogy.
Oh, you've never
that-
played anything from the Mythic Trilogy?
Never played.
Not
any
a
of them.
thing.
Honestly,
I would love
Devin
to play
Talks
them.
Tabletop, you can leave. This video's over for you.
this game.
Just kidding, Devin, don't leave.
This game is arguably in the collection, based off of Shira.
Yeah, because you don't care for it that much.
I thought it was alright. Like I still want to play it more, but
Have you played with
it
the
is
Pharaoh
not.
expansion?
It is not the best of the best.
Before you answer that question,
have
let's
not
talk.
played with the Pharaoh
Ankh is a area control game. It's in that Mythic Trilogy, the same with Blood Rage, the same with Rising Sun. Ankh is going to be a much more streamlined and simplistic version of those. The action selection system is super simple. Again, kind of like Bus, where the things you're doing are very easy, but the decision
He's offended.
I'm only comparing it on that alone.
Then why
the
compare
decisions
it?
you're making are difficult, but the actions are simple.
So like roadkill's kind of like dinner.
Oh my god.
In the sense that
You're gonna invite me here and then not even let me talk?
What? I'm letting you talk.
He paid you $1.
Yeah, $1 whole. This is like the most chess-like area control game that I have, especially in comparison to those. I will say, I've played it at 4. I very much enjoyed it. I still liked
You
the
think
merge.
it's at 2 though, right?
I think it's best at 2. But
haven't
I'll
played
say
it.
I liked the merge. I know a lot of people hate the merge, Doolin included. I liked the merge, so that's not why I liked it better at 2.
It's the
But
2
at
lowest,
2,
right?
It's the 2 lowest.
Yeah.
At 2, you avoid the merge, so if that's something
I
that's...
played with Shira at 2. I have not
bothers
continued
you.
to play it at 2.
I think at 2, it is extremely chess-like because you know every single thing that the opponent can do, and you know every single thing that you need to do. Combat is incredibly streamlined and simple. You're playing one card for each area that you're in. The Pharaoh board, in my opinion, adds a lot to the game. It does make it a little more less. It does make it a little less chess-like in the sense that it adds things that add a bit of randomness to it.
Yeah.
Because there's like a card there that you don't really know what they are,
Sure.
but like you're getting them into your hand. So it adds a little more randomness, a little less strategy as far as I know exactly what you can do.
Yeah.
But it does a lot in like giving you actions to do when you may not otherwise have a good action.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to the Pharaoh board and there's like 4 options on the Pharaoh board, including getting new cards, including doing this, and it just I loved this at 2. This is one of my best gaming experiences.
Wow.
Like, in general, in the
Wow.
past 2 years,
That's a lot.
my Ankh at 2, Doolin and I played this until like 1 a.m. And as soon as this finished, we were gushing. And then he left. I literally called the only other friend I knew at 1:30 in the morning who's played Ankh. And I was like, dude, 2 with Pharaoh. 2 with Pharaoh. I was like, it's so good. And I just had to like gush about this game. I loved it so much. I'll say I sold it because I had the all-in. I want to get it back with just base and Pharaoh.
Alright, Devin, can you just repeat everything he just said led up to the line?
Yeah.
You 2 sell things at a time in which
I
it
was
makes
gonna say,
no sense
welcome
to me.
to knowing me. I just sell things. But I sold the whole
Does Doolin
thing.
have it?
I love this. I love
You
this
got-
game.
you don't have
so
it at all.
much.
Yes, but listen, I sold it all because I had everything.
And you just
I
want
didn't
Pharaoh
want
plus base?
Everything. I want Pharaoh and base, and that's it. I didn't want everything. I'm gonna get it back. I just don't need to own $400 worth of Ankh. I want to own $100 worth of
So
Ankh.
here's what I love is you have over the weekend you've discussed this multiple times where you love a game but you have too much of it.
Yeah.
So you sell all of it to eventually get back some of it.
It's way easier to sell everything than saying I'm selling these expansions in the playmat, but I'm not selling the core game in this expansion. That's an impossible sell. If I can just tell someone, here's Ankh all
impossible or just a little less.
I
more
said,
finicky?
here's Ankh all in for $400, and I sold it in a day,
you're a
and that was
scalper.
easy.
You're a dirty scalper.
No, I got it for $380, I think. But
So you're an
regardless, yes, I made profit after I played it.
There's not a lot of wiggle room for
And
Jesse.
also, the production is incredible too.
Yeah.
Production is great too.
Yeah.
Minis and everything.
Simon
But
does
I
that,
just
though.
love, it's my favorite of the three. Of Blood Rage, Rising Sun, and Ankh. Ankh is my favorite, especially at 2. But in
That's-
general,
that's
if
good
I
to
had
know.
to own
So
one
you're
in the
gonna
collection,
buy back
it
the
would be
base and find someone
Pharaoh.
that's just selling Pharaoh.
Yeah, 100%.
Or steal mine, apparently.
I might actually. Yeah.
Hard no.
You don't even like it.
Guys, the best stuff in Jesse's collection.
That's
Oh, are we doing that?
no.
I'll
That's
get
worse
TI
for
real
you,
quick.
because Shira likes it.
But she doesn't
And
need
it's
Pharaoh,
It's
right?
more dangerous
She
for
doesn't
you.
need
Let me
Pharaoh.
get Twilight
More
Imperium
dangerous.
so we can
Thank you for
keep smacking.
watching. We're gonna go film, which you might have already seen before this one comes out. We're gonna go film the 10 worst games in Quackalope's collection.
Got some bangers.
Yeah, you do. See you there.
My assumption is it'll be slightly less fun.
Oh, man. Dang.
It's so soft it wasn't hard.
That's what
Very
she said.
floppy. It's very floppy. We'll see you next time.